save the game. The episode's about to start. We're
Nerdazons.
Okay, so this week we're doing Ready Player One book versus movie.
Yes, which you were so keen to do.
I have so many thoughts about this. Okay, so...
we'll start with the book first.
The book first, yes. Okay, so I got this book when I started collecting Loot Crate ages ago. And I read it within like a day and I was just obsessed. And it's one of my favourite books. So, yeah, I read this in a day and I've read it definitely more than once. So I'm just going to tell you what it's about. Ready Player One is a 2011 science fiction novel and the debut novel of American author Ernest Cline. The story is set in a dystopian in 2044, follows protagonist Wade Watts on his search for an Easter egg in a worldwide virtual reality game. The discovery of which will lead him to inherit the game's creator's fortune. The book was published in 2011.
2011.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, what it's about is a dystopian world, and the world is just
technology.
Yeah, oil is out. People don't have much money. Their
food's down.
So everybody lives in the virtual reality world called the Oasis, and the creator of the Oasis passes on and says, "Whoever can find the Easter eggs inherits my fortune."
Yeah, and he had like a fortune of like $240 billion. And then like on top of that, he had the rights to the Oasis. So whoever had that owned it, plus all the money.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Yeah, and also your character is a 99 level and doesn't die. And if
you pretty much can do anything in it that most characters can't do.
So this book, oh my goodness, it's so great. From the very first page, I was hooked, and it was just really interesting to know that people were so poor that they lived in stacks, which was caravans on top of caravans on top of caravans. And when you were in the Oasis, just the images that were in my head were so fantastic.
Yeah.
And I loved all the references and the music that was referenced and D&D.
If anything, so this book is heavily 80s reference. So if you grew up in the 80s or you love the 80s, everything, it's in it. So they reference movies to actors to songs in movies to games to like new technology that was coming out. So if anything, this movie made me want to go and research some of the things that I didn't know. And it just made me, want to check it all out.
Absolutely. And the storyline is really, like, the storyline is fantastic.
I feel like it was, so we've had a lot of dystopian futures, but I feel like this one's the closest to reality at this point in time. So it really hit home with resources going, with people escaping reality to technology, which is pretty much what's happening now. I mean, we see it with kids who know how to use phones by, like, the age of 2.
I know.
And it's pretty much the same. Like, even in the book, he said, like, how he learned how to walk and read and write. It was all through an online educational program. So I feel like it was the closest to reality for a dystopian future.
Yes. And I really like the fact that if you listen to the book, which I did also...
Will Wheaton did it really well.
Did an amazing job. And to have, little Easter eggs, him reading it and him being president. And then they also make comments about him in Star Trek.
Yeah.
And, that was quite good. But I really like the fact that there is a bit of love, but it's not
strong.
It's not the end-all and be-all of the book.
Yeah. Like, they really made it... they painted a picture for, like, I mean, when you think about it, if you're going to be spending 24/7 or at least 16 to 18 hours of the day in a virtual reality, your bodies are going to change. You're going to be slightly tubby. Your hair is going to be disgusting and gross because you're not, taking care of yourself. You're going to have acne because you're eating bad food. Like, it's just, they really painted that picture well, that it seemed more, even though we don't have virtual reality, but it seemed more realistic as that's how you would go.
Exactly. And I really liked when, what's his name, passed away?
Halliday.
Thank you. I've read it a million times.
That was the best bit, I think, because I wasn't so keen to read it because I didn't really know anything about it, and the movie didn't jump at me when I saw the trailers, and I knew you've been wanting to do this since we started the podcast. And then when I finally listened to it, it wasn't until Halliday's video did I sit there and think, wow, this is actually pretty cool, because it starts straight away into the video. It's his video, if you've read it, is his will and testament on how he did, how he's telling you, hey, there's an Easter egg here, but it just jumps through multiple like 80s reference after reference. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And I like also that it is quite dark, you know, when they blow up the stacks. And
I didn't expect that. I think I messaged you and I'm like, wow, that escalated so quickly.
Exactly. And when Shaito or Daito?
I think it was Daito.
When Daito died.
And the way they did it too, I was just like, whoa.
Like, yeah, so the Sixers are the bad guys. They
want to privatize the Oasis. So the Oasis is currently free. So all the people who are using it are trying to get it to prevent them from charging money just to use it. Because it's the only thing that they have in the world. But you
can still buy things on there. And I loved the fact when Wade was working in the call center and people are coming in and logging in.
That was so funny.
And that he's just sitting there swearing, going, what an idiot you are. And then it just translates to have a lovely day.
Yeah, like, and it puts there's like so instead of like a Snapchat filter, this is like a voice filter, so you could be so rude in your tone, but it'll automatically filter your voice to sound super happy and cheerful.
I need that at work.
It would be great if you were in customer service to ever have that. So I really, really loved how well they painted the picture for this. Like, it made it really easy to picture this online world, and especially you had the chat rooms, which I mean, I don't know if you ever played online games back in high school, like RuneScape and things. Like, the chat rooms were so bad. It was like just a line and you just type in. It seemed really bad. But this just, like, they made it out like a 80s basement, and it had everything you could want there.
And I love the challenges in the fact that with one of the challenges being that you've got to be in a movie.
Yeah, that would be the best game ever.
I know. And that you needed to do it word for word. What movie would you choose?
Oh, that's a tough question. I'd pick Harry Potter.
Really? I think I'd do Breakfast Club.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Harry Potter, you get to do, if you get to be the character, you get to do all the magic, you can play you can do all the things that you physically can't do.
Yeah, but also I know pretty much all the dialogue of Breakfast Club.
I know all the dialogue for the first 3 Harry Potters.
Oh, okay.
I know, my lame obsession.
No, well,
it was my first TV obsession.
I just read Harry Potter for the first time.
Oh my god.
I know. Sorry, getting sidetracked a little, but I found my Kindle after like many years, and
it was on there?
It was on there, all the so I'm up to book 3 now.
I always preferred the first. It was the best. I think after the 4th, the books were good, but then the movies really changed, and I think I started to grow out of it at that point because they just ruined it.
Yeah, I mean, the first book got a bit boring for me because I think I knew what was coming, whereas if I didn't know what was coming,
I think because like when it came out, I was the same age, so you were 11, and I just was captivated with it. But anyway, off topic. Sorry. Back to Ready Player One. No, they really painted a really cool picture. I really liked how, you know, you had to level your character up. I liked how you could, like, the items you could collect. Like, it really seemed like an actual game that they were playing, but really you're pretty much scavenging through all the different worlds that are in the Oasis.
And when that scene in the book where they're at the party and they're dancing...
I pictured that so amazingly.
I pictured that to be just completely different to the movie.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that,
but
definitely.
In my mind, it was just such a good... Like, even the club scene that they did, it was very different to how it was written in the book. But we'll continue that discussion.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in the book, it was just such a good scene to read. I thought this is a great way to diverge from it.
Yeah, and I highly recommend the book so much.
I strongly would recommend it as well. Like, I mean, I'm not a big reader, but it was so good.
Even if you listen, like what you said earlier, Will Wheaton does a great job of this book.
Yeah,
I've never listened to an audiobook and been interested.
He got the voices really well. Like, he really... And he kept the same voice for each character. Like, it didn't change later in the book. Like, it all remained the same.
Yes. See, I've listened to a few books and I've fallen asleep because they're just so boring.
You finished it in, like, a day, the audio.
Yeah, I know.
It took me a few weeks.
Because I can listen to music at work, so...
Yeah, I can't. Actually, I had, like... I was coming to the end of the book. I think I got up to the bit where the big battle at the end, and I'm like, I need to finish this. And like every like 2 minutes or so, I'll play it for a minute at work, really, really low, because I can't have music at work. I can't, nothing can be played there. So I'm like, I'll do it really low because I knew no one was in the office, and I'm like, and then when someone will walk past, I had to quickly push pause, but I just needed to finish it.
That battle was epic.
Yeah.
That battle.
It would have looked so cool. Like, because James Halliday created it, right, in this book, and he was obsessed with everything in the 80s, and he liked people to know what his references were. So because all these Gunters and Sixers, they're all trying to get into his mind to be able to figure out where, the egg is. So they just eventually adopt all the 80s stuff as well. So you had people, like, in the battle, I think they had, like... Godzilla, they had, I'm pretty sure the DeLorean was in there at one point, the X-Wing was there.
And the Iron Giant.
That wasn't in the movie, I don't remember it, no, so it was Ultraman.
Ultraman, no, that's what I got confused with, Ultraman, yes.
And then, another thing, the book made me really want to go and look for a lot of the old, like, 80s Japanese films, like TV shows, because they referenced it so much, I'm like, oh my god, I need to watch this.
I was just like, oh, how good is the music, and then it made me... excited to play D&D again because I love that game.
Yeah, because they referenced that game quite a lot.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
I strongly recommend to read this book.
Yes.
Because it's not a kid's book. And it's not just sci-fi. You have action in it. You've got adventure. You've got suspense. You've got, like, murder, It's pretty good. And... it's nerve-wracking, especially when he went undercover, and I was just like, oh my god, get out of there.
Oh, that
scene kept me on edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, when, I keep going back, but when the stacks blew up, I was just...
I know, I wasn't expecting it. It was just, like, such a kick so straight away.
Yeah.
And I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
But see, like, every time I saw the cover for the book, I kept thinking, oh, this
Did you
book
see the movie cover or the
No, the
boring...
actual book, like the brown cover for the book.
Yeah.
Every time I Googled it, and I kept thinking, oh, she wants to read this old thing. And I thought, and then when I checked, I'm like, this was only done in 2011?
See,
I kept wondering why there was, like, 90s references. And I'm like, what? How could this be done in the 90s? Like, if this book was made in the 80s? But I had that wrong.
Yes, so I highly recommend it.
Me too.
Read it or listen to it, do it.
Yeah, strongly recommend.
Yes.
Do you want to move to the movie now?
Yes.
Okay, prepare for this. That movie was terrible.
Yes. Can I just say, if you are going to read the book and do the movie, watch the movie first.
Yeah, definitely watch it
because
first. Or I would actually strongly recommend don't even watch the movie at all. Just read the book.
Well, one thing that annoyed me about the book more than anything at all is the fact that Artemis and Wade, they love each other, but they don't physically meet each other until the very last scene.
It is, and that's how the book rounds off.
And that's how the book rounds off, that they finally meet each other after all of these years.
Yeah.
And in the book, in the movie, they meet each other quite recently.
So straight away, like she knew where he was. Because she sent someone to go and get him. And it's like, how?
And then the first challenge...
That was so terrible. So, okay, let's just paint a quick picture here. So with the movie, it kicks off straight away into the first challenge. And everyone's there. And that's not how it happens in the book, because people give up on it because it took like 5 years and everyone thinks, oh, this challenge is useless. It's not there in the book. So that's how Wade ends up figuring it out, and he gets it. And then people are like, oh my God, someone's name's actually on the scoreboard. It is there. So everyone jumps back into the race to find the egg. Whereas in this one, everyone was there. Everyone knew where it was. And I'm like, no. That's not how it started. Yeah. I was so annoyed when I saw that. And the challenge was... it looked cool.
Yeah.
To, like, throw all the cool references in the racetrack. But that's not what the challenge was.
And the fact...
And they cut challenges out.
I know they did.
Because you... Okay, again, sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, I don't care.
Bugged me. This is the thing that bugged me. So in the book... you've got a clue. That clue gets you into the first dungeon room. You have to solve the challenge at the end. You get the key and you get the next clue. And then once you get the key, you go through the gate. And to go through the gate, you've got to then beat the next challenge. Yep. So there's actually 2 to 3 mini challenges just in order to get through one key. They didn't have any of that.
And they showed a tiny little bit of Halliday's character, but they also did a little bit of his testament. They didn't show the entire thing.
They didn't even show it. And he didn't even look like what he was meant to be. So this is a guy who was socially awkward his whole life. The actor who did Halliday really captured the social awkwardness. He couldn't even look at anyone in the face when they were recording. But they never showed, he shined through his digital form, and they didn't really show that.
Yeah. And with this, so when you start the book, it shows Wade and that he's, a fat kid with acne and stuff, and he has to go through and dig into all of these cars to hook up to the Oasis because his parents
I think at that point in the book he lost a bit of weight. It was when he was at school. Yeah.
But then they go to the movie and he's a tiny little pretty thing.
Yeah. Which he does get in the book though, but not that soon.
No. And the fact that he's already got all this gear set up in the car. Yeah. And then his auntie is meant to be a horrible, horrible person.
Yeah.
And
to the point that she doesn't even feed him.
Yeah.
And she was this sweet thing.
And in the movie, she's sweet. And that her boyfriend is...
the butthole.
Is a butthole, but she's weak towards him.
Yeah.
No, in the book, she's, she's not weak and she's nastier. And that's what I was... wanting to see as well, to see.
Yeah, I think they did a good kind of well at painting the picture of where he slept. In the book, all it was he moved the washing machine and he slept behind it. Whereas this one, they painted it out the top of the washing machine was the bed. I thought that was a good picture.
But there's meant to be 6 families living in the...
Yeah, and it's just the 3 of them.
And then the challenges are not at all...
underplayed.
Yeah.
I think they're very underplayed.
Yeah. And, the fact that when Wade finally meets his best mate, H, who is actually an African-American woman, it's meant to be this huge mind-blowing thing.
And her story, in the book when she tells the story as to why, it actually makes you really connect with the character a bit more. Whereas in this, she's just
hi.
Yeah, hi, I'll explain later or something. And then they get in the back of the van and they just let it all go.
And it's as if nothing. And I'm like, no, but...
Even Daito and Shoto, they were both the same age. They were both in their 20s and they were friends. And then they brought in an 11-year-old kid. Also, one of them didn't die like he was meant to.
Yeah. And when...
Artemis goes in, she goes undercover.
That's what I was about to say. When Artemis goes... undercover with the Sixers.
She doesn't actually go undercover, she's captured.
Yeah. But it's so easy for her to get out because they're just by the way, flick the switch up the top, you're free.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
Ugh. But I mean, if you forget that it is a book and you just go in watching it.
I do think you have to understand this is the first movie to capture practically the internet. They really had to create an image for the internet on film that no one's done before. I think I'd give it a point for that. They did well at trying to capture that for a first time. And I think cinema will improve on that. Yeah.
I mean, the battle scene was pretty cool.
I did in the first race, I loved how when he went backwards and Kong knew and he was watching him through the bottom of the ground and I'm no one else can see you but him. That was pretty cool.
And I like the fact in the last battle where, they chuck little Chucky at and he just goes psycho. And there's a lot of references, but...
And one thing too that in that last battle, I'm just going to mention that was really annoying. What was the main Six's name again? Anyway, the main bad guy, I've forgotten his name, he pulled out the little cylinder robot that turned into the big...
Iron Giant?
No, it was Robo... lizard. It was again another Japanese thing. We probably seem really bad that we can't remember this, but anyway, the point is you had to get that from a previous challenge, and anyone who completed the previous challenge got to pick. How come his was there but none of the other ones were there? So all of them had it in the book, remember? And it bugged me when I saw that, and I'm like, that's not fair that H had to bring Iron Giant in from her really cool workshop, and he had that, which was from a challenge. Where were the others?
Yeah.
Because Z had his in the last fight, and then he had to go and get Ultraman again.
And another thing that really annoyed me was the fact that, one, the big boss had his bloody password attached to his chair.
How dumb can you be for like a technology world?
Yeah.
Even now you know not to write your password down.
Yeah. And really, like, that was, I could see that coming. And the other thing that annoyed me was IROC. That's it.
Oh,
when
yes.
IROC is in the books, he's just...
Mecha Godzilla, I'm sorry.
No,
I think
that's okay.
That was the name.
Yes, it was. So when IROC's in the book, he's just an idiot who, you know, wants to... He ends up showing the world who Wade really are. And that's basically it. He's just a bit of a wanker. Whereas in the movie, he ends up siding with the Sixers and being such a massive character that you're just like, but why? And I just feel like he's there for the comic relief. And it's voiced by
IROC, the guy who was in Deadpool. He was the friend from Deadpool.
That's it, TK Miller. So yeah, is it? Oh no, TJ Miller. One of them.
Yeah, but like I definitely agree with you. They shouldn't have made him as big a character as they did. Mm-hmm. I will admit, I did like the pressure at the end when the main Sixer, he was in the real world trying to find them, like Z still in the game, and I did like that. I don't like how he got his coin though. Because, so in the book, for him to get the coin for the extra life, he had to play a perfect game of Pac-Man. And that included very, like, precision kills that he had to do in the game.
Yeah.
Like, he had to lose his life at certain points in order to get the extra bonus points. And if you screwed up, then you had to redo the whole thing. And he did it, and he got the quarter. And he didn't know what it was, but at the end of the thing, it was an extra life. And in this, all he did was throw a bet with a robot. And I'm like, no.
And the guy that played Halliday's best mate...
That was Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg. And it took me ages. I was like, no, that's the guy from Lord of the Rings, isn't it? And then you're like, no, that's Simon Pegg.
At first, I actually thought it was Martin... Not the guy... Not Martin Freeman. Martin Sheen. I thought it was him at first because his face was a bit wider. And I'm like, oh... That's got to be him.
But also, they don't delve into their story, which is
huge. Pretty much why the hunt began.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I recommend that you do watch the movie first.
Agreed. One last thing on the book. I hated that they made the challenges were around... One last thing on the movie. I hated that they based the challenges around Kira Morrow.
Yeah.
Because the challenges, I think, were created, around everything he loved. And everything he loved was an escape because he knew he couldn't... she was the only girl that he loved. But then he got, I don't know, he just became a solo creature after that. He didn't delve in it and become obsessed with it like they really made it out in the movie. And it would have been cool to see her grave in that, because, you know, when they go to, in the book, they go to Ogden Morrow's place and he builds like a big memorial, but it's the Elfish Kingdom from Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
That would have been really, really cool to see.
Exactly.
But yeah, they changed things that probably didn't need to be changed. And there were things that they could have easily left in that would have done better for the film.
Yes. See, I was expecting a lot from this movie, and I saw it at the cinema with my sister, because my sister hadn't read the book yet, but she's like, I'm really interested in this movie. It looks really good. As soon as I walked in, it started up. I was like, ugh. And my sister's like, what's going on? I'm like, they've ruined it. No, I'm not enjoying it.
That happened to me on the very rare books that I read. I remember finishing Angels and Demons book before, literally an hour before I watched it, and that movie bugged me. So they took the main suspect out and everything. That's why I think after that I learned never to read a book before a movie.
Yeah,
because books are always better, and you could perceive it very differently to how I perceive it, but you grow to love the world that you picture yourself.
Exactly.
And then when someone tries to bring it to life, it can be very difficult.
Yes, and the fact that with Artemis, she's meant to be shy and tubby and just have like a giant port wine stain on her face, which she does have.
Yeah.
But she doesn't seem to cover it up and be as affected by it as much.
Yeah, and she still looks gorgeous.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was
we could go on for days.
We could. We just simply did not like the movie. I am curious to see if I would have liked it as much if I had have not read the book.
Quick question. What do you reckon it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
54%.
You reckon 54%?
Yeah.
Oh, I
mean, my personal is I would rather give it something less. Like
I'm going to say 42.
But I reckon maybe it got 54%.
I'm going with 42%. So let's bring it up. It got 72%.
What? And then 77% liked it? Nah.
What?
I bet you that 77% didn't read the book.
Yeah, I think so. Oh my goodness, I am clearly in shock.
Yeah.
All right. So next month, what are we doing?
So we actually put up a Facebook post to see what you guys wanted, the listeners, and we got suggestions for Ghost in the Shell, which I'm like super excited to do.
I haven't seen either.
So I've only watched the anime movies, so it would be interesting to watch the live action film. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Ghost in the Shell, the first anime movie, versus the live action film. So just clarify, first anime movie. I know there's 2 anime movies in a few series. We're just doing the first movie compared to the live action film.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to do that one. That was a suggestion by one of our listeners, Al, a regular on our show. So yeah, make sure you watch one or both. I really recommend you watch it. Go to Watch Cartoon Online. You can stream it for free there if you want to watch the
Also,
cartoon.
It's on Netflix now, isn't it, the movie?
I think it is now. So yeah, there are definitely free ways you can go about watching this. But should we move on to our Nerdazon's Nerdy Notables?
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Can I just say, there is going to be spoilers, but Game of Thrones.
I know. I don't want to give spoilers though.
No.
Because I know a lot of people who are trying to hold out and binge it at the end.
I was like, no, I'm not going to watch
that's
it.
One thing you can't hold out. Like, there's too many spoilers for that series. And it's instant. It's within an hour of it being released. So
I know.
You'll ruin it for yourself.
I know.
Just saying.
So, oh my goodness, it is going to be epic.
I know, I can't wait. So we've watched, as we've recorded this, we've watched 2 episodes.
The battle's coming up next.
I know. I'm really keen for that. I'll message you as soon as it happens. Yeah. I'm definitely hearing a lot of good theories out there. But
one of my favorites, can I tell you?
Were we talking about it earlier?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, is that...
It is a fan theory. Let's just say this. We're not spoiling anything.
No. That Tyrion is a Targaryen.
Yeah, I still don't know if I believe that one.
I do. I really do, because they were saying that Targaryens dream of dragons, and he's done that. When he was captured, he could touch a dragon.
Yeah.
And the fact that his dad didn't like him, and there's a theory going on that his mum had slept with the Mad King. I've fallen down the fan theory.
I love fan theories.
Same.
They're so good. I just, and I don't want to ruin anything, but I know next episodes the feels are going to come. They really are.
Yes, and an 80-minute episode.
83.
83.
Yeah, it's and they said that the battle was more expensive or more intense than the Lord of the Rings one. I think it might have been more expensive.
Wow, I'm so excited.
I can't remember. All I know is it surpassed Lord of the Rings' final battle scene. And this is just an episode for a TV show.
Oh my goodness.
I know, it's going to be good.
Oh
I reckon there'll be like 10 minutes of talking and the rest... I think they said it was like 50 minutes of battle time. So you got like 20 minutes of talking.
I reckon the battle will last more than one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too. They can't just do it but then they got to wrap it up.
I know.
So it's hard.
And because we only get 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited because I'm going to go see Endgame.
I'm going this weekend.
I'm going probably today.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. I'm so excited for that.
I was seeing so many memes and it's like this year Star Wars wraps up. We finished that. Game of Thrones wraps up. We finished that. And then Avengers wraps up. So we finished that. So we actually finished a lot of things this year.
I know. I don't know how I'm going to survive.
It's okay. We still have Stranger Things.
Oh, yes. But I really like the fact that there's a website that you can go on and it tells you when you should go to the toilet for Endgame.
Just don't drink anything and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so.
You just have to suffer dehydration.
And one other thing is that I dragged you to a concert.
Yeah, yes, she did.
I did, because I really love this band called Cub Sport that Ange was like, meh. I'm like, I can't do that myself. I can't go to music by myself. Do you want to come? She's like, oh, all right. And I'm like, just shut up. I'll buy your ticket for you. Just come and meet me. And they were sick.
They were okay.
No, they were epic.
Like, okay, if you're into that music, I reckon it definitely went off for that type of music. It's not really my thing. So to me, it was okay.
I cried when they did, at their last song was Billie Eilish's cover. They did a cover of Billie Eilish, When the Party's Over, and I will have to post that because, oh my goodness, it was amazing.
Yeah, you were like glowing with excitement afterwards.
I really was.
You were.
But that first band was terrible.
Yeah, well, the first song they played, I'm like, yeah, this is all right. And then it just went downhill and it was so depressing.
It really was. I don't even remember what they were called, but Wafia was sick.
Yeah, she was good.
She was really good.
But still, not my type of music.
I'm glad you came.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, that was pretty good. All right,
so we'll just round off. We'll let you know, again, we're doing Ghost in the Shell, the live action film versus the first anime film.
Mm-hmm. And if you have any other suggestions of what you'd like us to...
Please, we'd love to hear.
To do, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook and email us at nerdazons@outlook.com. Also subscribe on SoundCloud, iTunes and Spotify. And if you could give us a like and a review, that'd be awesome as well.
Excellent. We'll see you next time, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.